last advertisement of yours I saw, you were saying, I just saw it at 3 a.m. It was like before I laid down, and I was like, I'm so proud of him. It's more than just this, it's more because you were like, listen, we can help you get that six pack before summer season, or you don't pay. And I was like, they know the science. He's got the science. I'm like, he knows exactly what to do. He's like, we can help you. If we don't help you, you don't pay. And I'm like, that's when you stand on your product. That's when you know your product works. That's when it's been field tested. You got so many people. And I saw you say before you even told me privately, you're like, we got over 300 clients. It's growing. It's growing. And I was just so proud. So now, please tell everyone. Because
Well,
we
I
went
just
down.
you touched on, well, so you touched on some interesting stuff,
Please
and
comment about them and then tell everybody what you do.
most definitely, as far as the uh, religion and stuff like that. So we was raised Pentecostal on my
Yeah,
side.
mine, that's what we were.
Look, and my mom was in the church, man. If she ever gets to tell her side of the story, like in the church, like we was there basically like every day to include Saturday. Like there it was like basically every day, but I think like it might have been every day but Monday. I
Mhm.
mean, like the point is, and very interesting progression. Started watching gay and straight porn from the time I was watching porn,
Yeah.
uh, because of the beliefs that I was taught. Basically, almost like just moved it to a corner of my mind, like just refused to believe it. Almost like, yeah, nah, we just like we gonna keep this to just a me thing. We just not gonna talk about that, like because I carried myself a certain way. Like, yeah, nah. But later on in life, it definitely came to a point to where I kind of had to like, okay, cool. So actually, I think that I'm more fortunate than most. By the time I actually was chose to place myself in a position to where I felt the need to come out, because at first it was my business is my business, and I was gonna run that play forever. However, when I started to build the page, I was like, I don't like I had gotten past the part of my life where I was cool with compartmentalizing, and I was like, if I'm gonna do this, that means which if I'm gonna do this, that means I'm gonna have to be me.
Yeah.
And to be me, that means that I'm going to have to basically tell my parents because they were the last to find out anyway. And my parents, well, so my parents and my brother. And so I told them, but I was already at a spot in my life to where I was kind of like, if I lose you, I lose you.
Mm.
Um, and I think that actually made the conversation go easier because they felt the energy of like, hey, like I suck dick sometimes, like,
Yeah.
and are you cool with this? If not, like, totally respect it. But like, this is just I have a whole husband, like, or a whole boyfriend right now, like, just letting you
Yeah.
know. And so, and I think that that confidence, if you will, came from a series of decisions that I actually can trace the line. But it's like the one before that was choosing to leave my daughter, which we've already spoken about, and the one that preceded that uh, was building my body. And I
Mm.
can tell you, being proud of, I noticed how I changed towards the world just by being proud of me. It was the weirdest thing. By me being proud of me, and no, it made it to where I didn't deflect as much. Like I wasn't as just being unnecessarily like tearing people down or like just joking because I'm just joking always, right? Like, but you can cut some wounds with somebody's jokes, planting some seeds of doubt. And so I just and it was interesting that how I operated in the world and how the world treated me changed just by changing the external and let me say being willing to put in the work to change the body, right? Um, there were a couple steps before that, but yeah, those were the two steps that preceded coming out, if you will, for me to where coming out for me. Actually, I was telling somebody who's having challenges with this right now. I was like, I wish I could connect and I understand where you're at. And I can say that that actually for me wasn't the hardest thing that I've done in my life. It
Mm.
wasn't. Um, but yeah, it's just interesting that religion has played a role in both of our early years. As far as so, with that being stated, I got to come out to the world in San Francisco, which is a wonderful place to be doing that. And at first, I loved it. So I was bartending and doing all this other stuff, but I started to notice that I was like, man, some of these people just aren't happy. Like,
Mm.
just aren't happy. This was my first time immersing myself and being around like just the community, our people, like all the time. And I'm like, yeah, some of these people are cool, but like a lot of these people are just like salty for no reason. And I started to realize that I was like, there actually is a genuine need to where it's like, man, like some of these people actually genuinely don't know how to change their body. I realized that not everybody had come from if your objective wasn't to be authentic in the beginning of the game, which mine wasn't. Mine was to win at the game that was placed before me. And so I presented straight. And so I'm sitting here. I had people like when I wrestled, like I had people teach me how to strength train. Like I went into the military, like, and I wanted to present a certain way in there too. So it's like I had people teach me this stuff, and I'm like, I don't think everybody's had this experience. Like some people genuinely don't know what to do, and that's why they go to the treadmills. It's also, ironically enough, way more comfortable when you are like intimidated by a whole section of the gym and everybody's bigger or looks different than you, right? Or you feel that they're going to make you feel a certain way. And so, and I just, again, because fitness changed my life in such a way, I was like, man, like this is something that I can actually believe in.
Mhm.
I want to help. And if I'm going to do it for the long haul, I keep saying that because T2T fitness is actually a stepping stone. And I've actually put it on my page, but like, not everybody looks at the highlights. T2T fitness is a 5 to 10 year play for me so that I can actually basically pivot this into I need to show the world social proof that I know how to build an 8 figure company.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
As a queer person, I can start from zero, build it to 8 figures, and then I can roll that into a platform to help queer business owners.
Yeah.
That's my whole game. Is I want because right now I get to show basically like 80% of me, which is the again on the page, queer life, thirst traps, fitness, and entertainment. Like the only thing that I don't really get to talk about as much as I actually wish I could is business because it's just not really a spot for it there. And I cannot wait to be able to help entrepreneurs like me and invest in their businesses and their causes and actually really help queer entrepreneurs in a way that I feel like there are other avenues um, for other people because some people do get weird or feel a certain type of way because as you're saying you're different over something as stupid as what you like to do in the bedroom. Like it's crazy to me. And so about 15 months ago, started building the company, the fitness company, TDT Fitness. And now, yes, it's looking like this month we actually will cross the $1 million mark. And the first objective is 100K months, which actually is looking like we'll actually do the following month. And the money is solely just a measuring stick so I can know that I'm oriented in the right direction towards the big goal of, okay, cool. Along the path, I never want to forget that again, the big the big vision is again, if I can help, I really do believe that like owning a business or entrepreneurship, man, can change people's lives.
Mhm.
Because I honestly feel that the game that was put in front of me, I feel that I would have been miserable, average, frustrated,
Mhm.
and because that's what the game that they tried to teach me to play. And so it's like I don't. But man, like entrepreneur basically was another thing that I think is like integral to, if you will, saving my life outside of fitness. And so it's just like, man, like to be able to empower, help assist other people on their journey, if that's what they want to do, it's going to be awesome. And so I'm just using the talents, skills, strengths, abilities that I have right now to build this first endeavor so that's the big play though, which is probably going to take somewhere around like, we'll say like between 10 and 15 years.
You know what's so crazy though? You're hitting it on the head because I went from being having a concave chest, like,
Bird
people,
chest in the South.
yeah, that's what they call it. They called it the bird chest. I went from that. And the craziest thing was, as I look back at it, I've been doing it. See, I ran track and field in high school.
Mhm.
And so we weightlifted, we trained, and then I got to college. And the thing was, after track and field, I did not continue at university. I was sick and tired of running. They kept telling me, you have a gift, you have a gift, you have a stride, you have a stride. I'm like, yeah, but this stride could do better walking down a runway. Like, damn it. Like
For sure.
had me running like the 400, the 800, the 4x4, the 4x8, and I was always last leg.